to sunny Saltcoats today, picking up an Epiphone Thunderbird bass. My pal Buster told me about it last night. I think he would have gone and got it, but he's waiting to start a new job, so he's got a motorbike, but he doesn't have a van or a car. It must have been a works van he was using, so he can't go and get it. And he was like, "Oh, go get it, go get it." And I was like, "No, I can't be bothered." But it's a nice day. Just found out there's been an accident on the Kingston Bridge, which has added 20 minutes to my drive, which is lovely. I shouldn't have ever actually been to Saltcoats before, so expect a video in the next couple of days. And the Thunderbird bass, there's something wrong with the bridge, which I reckon I can fix, and it's a good price, so it's worth a go. I'm also doing a wee, the guy's also selling 2 other guitars. It's the same chap that I bought, I don't know if you remember, a while ago I did a cheese guitar. So I bought some guitars off him probably 3 years ago, something like that, when he didn't live in Saltcoats then. I only know this because it was his wife's, I think it's his wife's Facebook account. It's like, "Oh, my husband knows you." Alright, okay. I'm famous, and seeing as he called it a cheese guitar, that implies that he saw it, because when I bought it, it had the holes drilled in it. Like, I think as someone was trying to maybe do a guitar a bit like the guy Russ Ballard and Argent had. It wasn't yellow, it was me that painted it yellow and made it cheese. So he must have seen that video. So he might be one of you guys YouTube fans. So hello if you're watching. What else I got? He was selling tons of guitars. I remember I didn't have very much money at the time. I think he had like 20, something, something insane. They're all really cheap. I think I paid something like 25 quid or 30 quid for the cheese guitar. I've still got the neck. It was actually fretless. When I got it, when I say fretless, someone had removed the frets, so I do actually still have a Strat neck with no frets in it. No, there was a point I was actually thinking of putting that fretless neck on the triple neck guitar. And I built up the Flying M. I've still never done that. I had it working, and I don't know, it's a huge glow in the dark triple neck Flying V, and when I originally built it, it had a fretless bass neck in the middle, which is not the sort of bass, it's not the sort of guitar you want a fretless bass neck in. Squire Showmaster upside down neck on the bottom, which was a sort of thing, like a sort of thin super stratty type neck with an upside down headstock. That is the sort of thing you wanted on it. On the top I had just a normal, it was kind of like a Telecaster at the top, but I put Nashville strings on it, which is, Nashville strings are still tuned the same, but it's like, see if you get a 12 string set and you use all the thin ones, it's like that, which actually sounded pretty good. Basically I did just buy a 12 string set, and I put the bottom, the thick strings on the bottom neck, then the fretless bass, then I had the thin strings on the top neck, which would have worked had it not been a glow-in-the-dark triple neck Flying M, which didn't really want a Nashville guitar on it. You kind of want that on an acoustic, or maybe in a Telecaster. It's more of a sort of country type thing, not the sort of thing you play a triple neck Flying V with. So I was going to use the fretless neck for that, but it hasn't happened yet. The problem is, it's like the problem with building a double neck, basically like building 2 guitars at the same time. So you have to kind of try and set them, because you don't want the necks. You kind of want the necks to be in line, otherwise it would feel really odd. So you kind of got to do other things to make them line up. Normally, you can just shim the neck. That's fine. If the bridge is in the wrong at the wrong height or something like that. So I had that. That's in my project list. I really need to do it. I did get a fretted neck for the bass in the middle, which would be much more useful. And then the top neck's still undecided really what I'm going to do with it. There was a point, in fact I think I've actually routed it out to take like an acoustic, and then I'd kind of actually done it and already set it up, and then never actually got down to actually building it, because then again started thinking, well, playing a super metal hair guitar, maybe for the prog, maybe the acoustic would work. I think that was maybe what I was thinking. It just didn't look right. I just need to find something to put on the top neck. And obviously there's a possibility of just tuning it to something different. I never use any other tunings. There's also a possibility of putting like a 7-string on it, but I mean, really what's the point in having a 7-string and a 6-string when you just ignore, because that's how I play a 7-string anyway, you know, you just ignore the low B until you want to use it. Not actually that difficult to do. The huge difference, that does not apply to the 8-string guitar I've got. It's, for some reason, just ignoring the top E string, or the top B in this case, not a problem. I can just play the guitar exactly as normal, and every now and again I've got the extra note when I need it. Put 2 strings on it, it's just like speaking another language. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. You just get lost. Keep end up, you're playing away, and then everything gets very difficult. So I'm having to take a bit of a detour here. I'm way down onto I'm having to take the motorway down almost to Scott's house, turning right. I'm now going on the new bit of motorway, new being within the last 10 years probably. Going around the south side of Glasgow, and I'm going to go down to the coast. So it should be some nice views, I hope. Well, just now you're just looking at me, but when we get going, also this guy, his wife or his partner, take Flapper. Yeah, he's got a couple other guitars that would fit quite nicely into your collection. And it was like, yeah, I know, I saw them. He's got an Aria ZZB bass, which is basically the same as the bass that I always talk about, the one that I lost for 20 years. The one mistake I always regretted selling or trading in was that bass, and I got the exact same one back. So I'm telling that story again. So he's got one, it's even the same colour, apart from it's a rosewood neck one. I can't justify having 2 of them, especially when one of them's got huge sentimental value to me. There's no point having 2. But one with a rosewood neck, it's even the same, I don't know, I used to call it turquoise burst, but I saw an advert for one calling it moonburst, which it sounds much nicer. It does come with a case though. I wonder if it's the original case. So I'm going to have a look at that anyway, just because I'm nosy. I might even, I don't know if the guy will be up for me doing a wee bit of a video on it. I might do that. Might help him sell it. So he's got a reasonable price for it. It's not good expensive. What's the other? He's got another guitar as well. He's got a Roadstar, and this thing looks stunning. It's got the Super 70, it's a single pickup one. It must be from 84 or 85, because it's got the Pro Rocker bridge on it. Single cream Super 70 pickup, and it's almost the same sort of colour as mine. You know, it's got the dark bluey thing, but mine's got white around the edges. This goes to black around the edges, round top, and it looks really nice. So Scott's interested in it. He's having a shit time. He's waiting for his Fujigen guitar, and I feel really guilty. I suppose it's at least it's in the past, but when I was waiting for mine, I ordered my FGN on the Friday night, like at 2 in the morning or something like that, and the guy couldn't post it the Monday. He was very apologetic. Not his fault, especially when it's a buy it now. He posted it on Tuesday, and I was crawling up the walls, and I got it on Friday. So I mean, I was annoyed about it, but I mean, nothing, no problems. Whereas Scott ordered his 2 Fridays ago, so that's now been 2 weeks he's been waiting for it. Apparently the people who were selling it were unbelievably nice and very apologetic about how long it took them to post it, which I think Scott was maybe a wee bit pissed off about, because you can't really call them bastards, because they were being nice. You know, it's like the difference of it being nice rather than being annoying. And he's waiting in today for it, even though the tracker has really not been much help to him. It just says at hub, which isn't really enough. You kind of want, which hub? Where is it? Is it coming today? Otherwise I'd have been picking him up, because I pretty much had to drive past his house on this detour. I don't even know if I've ever been on this bit of road. This is in the town. There's the Statue of Liberty, see, blowing gold there. So this is, there's apparently been an accident just before the Kingston Bridge. This is me skirting the bottom half of Glasgow. So I don't think about actually being on this exact bit of road now. boring road that I always complain about, that it's always raining on, where you're just going across fields. At least this way somewhere different. This way I'm going past Paisley. There might be some sights on the way in there. I'm a wee bit concerned about the battery life in my GoPro, because last night I had a great idea. It's like, because I've now got a phone that works, cheers Buster again, I've got the app thing, which means I can actually control the GoPro with my phone. Basically I can use it as a security camera, which actually might be really good when I eventually get back into the studio again. It means that rather than just having it, you know, setting the camera on the spare Marshall lamp in the corner and hitting record, I can actually, when we're talking, I can pause it with my phone without having to go and see it. Also I can see what's on the screen, which I should have done for this, but I was driving, so I couldn't. So I've done it before I left. You know, I can set it up and I can change the aspect ratio, because it does like the fisheye lens thing or the distance thing. I'm not really, I mean, I had no idea what the screen looks like here. So I can adjust stuff like that, which should be fun. So I'm going to take some video footage of this Roadster, because I know it's not exactly the one Scott wants, because it doesn't have the Edge trim. That didn't come out, you know, the actual licensed Floyd Rose. But I think it kind of depends on how worn the Pro Rocker thing is. And I suppose the thing with the Pro Rocker is it doesn't have a bar in the photo on the internet, but it might just not be in the picture. So you can just kind of ignore it, and it's sort of like a hardtail. So that should be fun. To be honest, I'm going to be spending more time with that than I am with the Epphone Thunderbird. My pal's actually selling, Alex is selling an Epphone Thunderbird. Yeah, he brought it around. He doesn't actually play the guitar, he deals in guitars, fair enough I suppose, just because they're cool. I was just checking out this one. They are actually really good basses, but they are flipping massive. So when I do sell it on, it'll not be a postage option, because like a bass is long anyway, but a Thunderbird is like a foot longer than a normal, like a B bass, because it's got like there's a big distance between the nut and the first tuning head, and then after the first tuning head there's an extra couple of inches, and even if you look at the back, the bridge, whereas in a P bass it's kind of sitting right at the back of the base of the guitar, at the end, right close to the edge. On a Thunderbird it's not really that close to the edge, plus the Thunderbird's got the big wing bit that kind of sticks out below it, so they're absolutely huge, but good basses. Actually my pal G had one for years. I always felt the strings were pretty bendy on it, but that might be something to do with the fact that there's more string past the nut. I'm not really sure, but they do seem to be the strings do seem to be a bit bendier than a normal bass. I do like them. I actually own one. I haven't owned one myself. I remember buying one in cash converters and I chunk out the fingerboards, which you didn't really feel, but you could very much see. And I bought it for, I don't know, 90 quid, I think it was. I think I sold it for 130 on eBay, so like I made a tenner or 20 quid. This was 10 years ago though. So apparently they're worth an awful lot more than that now, I hope. Because they're quite desirable. Looks like a Korean one as well, which might make a difference. There's actually quite a lot of Thunderbird basses. I think they've always made it. I seem to remember them being almost a sort of, the Epphone one being a new thing when my pal bought his. It was quite, you know, maybe they started making them in maybe the 2000s or the very late 90s, kind of same time as we started making the Epiphone EBO, which was 98. But they are, let's be honest, better basses than the EBOs. Well, I don't know. My hatred for them has dwindled a little bit. The one I owned, I liked it when I got it, and then when I got a shot of a P bass for the first time after that, I was like, oh man, EBO's terrible. So that kind of tarnished me. And then I had another one, I don't know, 10 years later, that I bought in bits just to fix up, and I didn't like it either. And then, but that one I had in the Black Sabbath band that I painted silly, actually I quite liked it. And then I did one up for Tony in the Blitzkrieg shop, and I quite liked it as well. So I don't know if it's maybe just a personal preference thing. As long as you're expecting the EBO to be an EBO, Whereas if you're expecting it to be a P-base, you're going to be disappointed because it doesn't sound like a P-base, or feel like a P-base, or look like a P-base. It's its own thing, which I mean I can understand. I think that's partly to do with the Les Paul, but I don't really like Les Pauls as well. It's just, it's a different thing. It's not really like an SG or a Strat or a Telly. I never used to like Tellys, I never used to like Strat, I never used to like anything. I must have been a right awkward when I was like, I don't know, 18 or 19 or 20 when I started playing the guitar. I just hated everything. I bought SGs, always like them. And I remember I didn't like Strats for years as well. Even my pal Andy bought a Japanese one, which is, I bet you love it now, I think you still got it. It was just pure thin and difficult to use and all that, which I think, to be honest, if you've only played for a year or a couple of years, there is a bit of that inner Strat, and you're used to you're trying to play Black Sabbath on it and stuff. A Strat, it doesn't let you away with as much. In some ways, it's harder to play. It does more things, definitely. But even the first couple of Strats I had, the first one I had was a really cool looking Korean Squire. Actually, it was sort of, you get candy apple red. This was a sort of candy apple turquoise, with the metallic below it, and it was a very, very 50s style one. The one-piece maple neck and the amber tint and all that, and it sounded very, very Stratty. And at the time, I sort of understood it, and I was playing clean on it and stuff, and whenever I tried to use distortion or play anything a bit rocking on it, it was just like, nah, this can't do this can't do it. Whereas now, maybe a bit more mature and know my way about a guitar a bit more, I can play Sabbath on the Strat, no problem at all. I just got used to them. You do tend to find that a Strat, the more expensive ones are more Stratty. Like if you're, a lot of the, the sort of lower end Squire ones and the sort of older Squire, basically the Bucky casters, they're Strat shaped, but they're an awful lot more in the middle. It's an electric guitar, but it's kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, as opposed to being when you actually get, like my Japanese Strat is very, very Stratty. It's got like low output pickups, the curved fingerboards. It really does the clean really well, but it's which is good. You want a guitar with personality. Yeah. So I'm ready to talk for 20 minutes. So I'll turn it on. I suppose I'll a little bit of scenery. It's actually quite nice today. So that's Paisley. Nick lives over there. That's the other side. That's the Kilpatrick Hills. It's the Holiday Inn, Glasgow Airport. I used to drive past here all the time on my way to. Right now I'm sitting here wondering where I'm actually meant to go. I've not turned my sat nav on yet. Is it Irvine I want to go to? Yes, it's the Irvine Road. I'm pretty sure it's the Irvine Road. It's going in the right direction anyway. There was about three different routes. The road that kind of went like this, the one that went like this, the one that went like this. So it doesn't really matter. Because if I go that way, I'm going through Greenock and stuff. I don't want to go that way. Okay, rocking. I'll give you a shout once I can see the sea. 20 minutes of nonsense. Woo! Or 19. Yeah, so very pretty. What you can see over there between those hills, which you probably can't see on the GoPro, is Arran. So I know I'm going in the right direction. Still not seen any sights for Stewarton. That's why I've been down here before. Yeah, Arran is Mordor. Looks very much like it. It's just a big black mountainous island when you see it from the distance. I went to it once in my boat. It was an 80-mile round trip. Or was it £80 it cost me in petrol? I can't remember, to do that in my boat from Loughlin. I'm going to say I went to Arran. I got to the point where, actually in my boat, where I couldn't see land. It was pretty scary. Well, that's because it was pissing it down, so I could only, about half a mile, it was probably only a mile away from the mainland. I went out to Arran, and basically I went in on the beach, ran the boat up the beach, ran up onto the grass, went, woo, I'm in Arran, ran back down again, got back in the boat and headed home. So that was my one time I've actually been to Arran. The thing that I always regret about that visit was I was talking to, there was a guy sitting in a yacht, and when I went past him, said hello, and he's like, oh, how's it going? He's like, I've come down all the way down from Strucker. He's like, oh, well, amazing, and that rip, yeah, did that, do you want to come in for a cup of tea? And I said, no, I better get back. I wish I'd stayed. All the regrets in life, that's not a big one. But it was a pretty day. I'm going to stop in a minute and then have a look at my sat-nav. So I've not actually turned it on yet. I'm going to have to do something with it. This Bluetooth thing, which I've got turned on the camera, I'm going to have to work out how to turn that off, because my battery's gone down to 60% from 90 when I left. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Alright, here's a sign here. Dalry Kilwinning Irving. This is the new Dalry. I assume that's how you pronounce it. Might be Dalry. Don't know. I had a great time using the sat-nav to get to my pal Rob's house last week. There's a place called Blochairn, and whoever it is on the sat-nav kept calling it Blochern, and every time it said turn left onto Blochern Road, it was like every time it said Blochern, I had a wee laugh, because I'm easily amused and a bit simple. So this is Saltcoats. It's super windy. The reason I'm not going outside is because hopefully that made the noise. Incredibly loud. Yep. So I've got the Epiphone. It looks all right. I know the guy, Brian. I bought some guitars off him many years ago, before I really started buying tons of amounts of guitars. And he bastard waited until I'd already paid for the Epiphone before he started showing me the ridiculous amount of guitars he's got, which makes me feel a bit better now, to be honest. There we go. Yep, so Saltcoats, very nice. Flippin' Baltic, has to be said. One of your wee seaside towns. Oh, it's cold. That wind is a biter. What I'm doing here is just driving around the shorefront, which is not really the way to get home. I need to stop. Jeez. I see the sand going across the car park up off the beach. That's how windy it is. I'm just going to stop here. Set out my thingy. Yeah, so there you go. I don't know if that's actually showing up, but look at the sand getting blown up off the beach, up the steps. And then onto the thingy, yeah, so windy. I'll come back on once I've set my route to get home. Yo, that was quite an experience. You know, a guy, Brian, who I've not seen, I don't know how many years ago it was I bought the guitars off him last time. He remembered me though. Can't say it sort of looked familiar. He's made me feel a little bit better about the ridiculous amount of guitars I've got. I think he's got more. He's actually got racking, like proper racking you get in the back of like B&Q and stuff like that, with cases lined up, and pretty much expensive guitars rather than half of mine aren't. I was there for about an hour and a half or something. Can't help but talking. So it was a nice wee day out, and the weather's lovely. I'm currently playing petrol station roulette, and I'm going to go up and see Scott on my way home, and I'm going to stay at his for dinner. He doesn't know that yet. I'm just inviting myself. It's kind of because the Kingston Road, the Kingston Bridge was closed because there was an accident, so it sent me round kind of sort of near him, sort of. Not really, but yeah, no, kind of, mine's a bit blown with some of the guitars this chap had. He's got I was talking about my triple neck on the way down. He's gone one up. He's got was it 6 neck? The Bill the Bill Bailey one.
Use the right 2 lanes to continue onto the M77.
And it was sitting on, you know, those the sort of foam rack things you get. It was on one of them sitting sideways. So it was a 12 string,
Continue.
a 6 string, a 5 string bass, 4 string bass,
In
7
9.6
string, another
miles,
one,
take exit 5 onto
another get a hardtail.
M726 towards
Basically
Eastern
just all
Road.
more necks than anything. I should have taken a wee video just playing it because the thing looked hilarious. Hutchins made it, and a couple of other mad things. Those were the things that were kind of on display. He's also got a really nice Ibanez Roadster, which I was looking at. I'm going to go and see Scott, tell him about it. I took some photos for him. It's a very, very pretty guitar. The only thing is it's got a funny bridge. I don't think it's the Pro Rocker bridge that's on it though. It's another type of bridge which I've not really seen before. I think Ibanez did their own thing. It's a 1983 model, so it's quite a weird looking one. The neck on it's a stunner, it really is. And I got the Epiphone Thunderbird bass. It's just a little bridge problem which looks like it's going to be fixed pretty quickly. I think part of the reason it was cheap is because it was in Saltcoats. Whereas hopefully I can just punt it before Christmas. Up being in Glasgow, it's not as much of a drive. Certainly not an hour and 10 minutes drive or something like that. I don't know. No, so it's actually even got East Kilbride as an option on the thing. The problem is, see when you get the thing that counts down, how many miles have I got left? Oh, 36, it's getting low. Once it gets to 30, it stops telling you how much, it just says get petrol. So I'll have to do something. I'm sure I can find one within 30 miles of here though. It's only 17 miles to Scots, so I'll find a petrol station before I get there. It's not too bad. Yeah, so my head's spinning a little bit just from the amount of guitars this chap had. Doesn't have them on display though, because I think that you get to a point where you can't have them on display. It's kind of the point. How many can you feasibly have on a wall? Even though I've only got a tiny room, obviously I can put them elsewhere in the house. But yeah. So interesting. So there might be some battery left in this. I might be able to do some battery. Maybe I'll get some sort of video up in Scots.